This channel and its content are purely for entertainment. If you happen to learn something, awesome. I'm not a professional mechanic, fabricator, HVAC tech, contractor, chef, etc. Take my advice loosely and use it if you like and agree. Otherwise, do it your way. Enjoy the video. Today I'm out in the garage and I'm going to be doing a little work on my Blackstone Griddle. We're going to do a little cutting and grinding and welding and just trying to resolve really the only problem that I've ever had with it, which is the grease system on it. This is a original Blackstone griddle that's probably almost 4 years old at this point, and they redesigned the grease system to be in the rear, but this one's got the front grease system, and I love everything else about the griddle, just that part I don't. So I'm going to do a little fabrication here, and we're going to make it what I want it to be. Hopefully it's going to work a lot better, and I'll bring you along for the ride. Okay, so I've got the griddle top sitting in here, and I'm just going to show you guys what I'm thinking here. So as you can see, this front grease system, the grease always ends up over here. It's supposed to go through this little hole. It's supposed to drain down into the drain cup that hangs off the side of this. And it just doesn't work right. It's well known that this is a bad design and the thing leaks, and people have done all kinds of things over here to fix that. But I'm going a little different route. So what I'm going to do here is, you can see I've measured a hole here in the back and the center of this griddle top. And it's just wide enough that it's going to be wide enough for my scraper so that I can scrape to the back and the center of this rather than to the front. I've got this piece of tubular steel that I'm going to weld underneath this system on the bottom of this griddle top. And so this will be hanging from underneath here like this. That will be welded on there. So I will cut the hole out here and weld this on underneath it, and it'll have a nice chute for the grease to come down below the griddle top. Now, I've also measured on the griddle itself, and basically there's a trough that runs of metal, runs right along this area here, that will slot right into, and all I got to do is cut a little hole in the middle there to slot that thing in, and it'll sit right down in there. Then my next thought is I'm going to actually extend that, rather than taking a huge piece of this angle steel, or this tubular steel, I'm going to actually use basically some of this stovepipe that I will put on the bottom and secure with a clamp like this on the bottom of the. So I'll show you. This was my test piece, but the idea here is that this will go into that and be connected underneath the griddle. So I can extend this down. I'm going to use that solid piece that I had on the bench in there, and I'm going to measure how far down I want it to go. And then underneath the griddle, imagine that there's the shelf that's down here. I'm just going to be able to stick the biggest drip pan that I would like to do, which I've got some large aluminum pans. I'll probably just use one of those, and that thing will shoot right down in there and drain straight into it. So that's the goal. That's where we're going. So that's that part. So I've just got to cut this hole, and then I've got to get this welded on the bottom of that, and get that all cleaned up. I am going to strip the griddle down and re-season the whole thing when I'm done here. I'm probably going to do some high heat paint on the outside and underneath it too, just to keep it from rusting underneath. Now the second piece that's going to happen is I actually need to get my other metal. So part two of what I'm doing to this modification is I will be welding in a piece of metal right here to the griddle top, so that it no longer has this trough and allows the grease to come there. Now I could cut this off. I could possibly even just melt or heat up the metal and bend this whole trough up instead of using this piece of metal. But quite honestly, I don't see any reason to take this off. I don't think it's going to be in my way. And if anybody or I decided I ever want to do this, you know, take it back off or do whatever, I don't have to worry about it. I can do that. So I'm going to leave this for now. I might cut that edge off there just to keep it out of the way at some point, but I'm probably going to leave this trough, and I don't know, who knows, maybe I'll be able to stick something in there. I mean, it'll get hot, but you know, maybe I'll come up with a use for it. I don't know. But in any case, that's the plan. So this is ultimately what it should look like when we're done with this welded to the front, that hole cut, this piece underneath, and giving me an ability to drain all my grease in the back. And as I'll show you in a little bit, I actually have a surround system for this griddle, which is why I don't want it to just go straight out the back and cut the whole back open like some of the new griddle tops are, because it will be actually in the way of that surround. So, all right, so this is what we're going to do, and we'll get at it. I may have caught myself on fire.
Help me, Jesus!
Yeah, small hole. It'd be all right. All right, let's try that again. Well, I think we're going to have to go plasma cutter now, because I don't think I'm going to be able to grind these little sections without taking up too much metal. So let's get the plasma cutter out and see what we can do with that. Hopefully we don't catch myself on fire again. All right, we got holage. It's not very pretty, but it's a hole. We'll clean her up. still a little rough. I think we're gonna have to do a little filing on that. Rough out those small things. Either that or I'll get a Dremel out maybe. It's probably gonna be the right answer. Probably have spent way too much time on this already, just trying to clean it up, because I'm going to end up welding on the bottom. It's going to look completely, well, it's not going to be there. You're not going to see it. But on the top, I need to do a little bit more, but we're getting there. Okay, so we got our steel here that we're going to weld right over the top of that gaff. And sit it right about like that. So let's get to welding, see what happens. Yep, she's pretty ugly, but it ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. Okay, so took a little more grinding than I wanted, smoothing, a little extra weld on there, but I don't think she looks too bad up here. I'm gonna get the rest of the grill stripped down and hopefully that'll match pretty good, but you can see from back here, there she is. So that should be a real nice grease trough to shove the food and otherwise down there. So quite a bit more work to go. We still haven't done anything on the front, but I think we're pretty well done back here other than cleaning her up a little bit more and finishing up the rest of the cleaning on the griddle. Get that front welded on. So more to come. Okay, well, now we've got the hole in the trough built. We're going to move on to welding on this front piece to keep the grease from cutting itself. Okay, now that we got the welding done and did some more grinding on the welds, did some more grinding on the bar here, trying to get that smoothed out, trying to get the corners as smooth as possible. Took some angle grinder and little die grinding and just various things here, but I think I've got this pretty smooth. Smooth as I'm going to get it, because I'm definitely not a professional welder and I definitely don't know all the tips and tricks, but this is the best I can do, and I think it looks pretty good. So next thing I'm going to do is clean off the whole griddle, and I'm going to use my flat wheel and see if we can get this whole thing down to bare metal and get the bottom of it cleaned up, and then we're going to spray some high heat paint on the bottom and the outsides, and then we'll have to make a minor cut on the griddle surface, or the griddle frame itself, to be able to get this thing to sit down in there. So we'll look at that here later too. So anyway, on to doing some cleaning here. I'm not going to worry about the inside edge of this, because don't cook on that. It's already just fine. Knock that off right there. I think we're looking pretty good on this side. I'm going to knock this off, and I'm going to just sand it flat. Let's see. We're not going for perfect on the bottom. We're just going to try to knock the rust off and shoot it with some high heat paint. I think that's going to take a little more on the side. I'm going to use a little wax and grease remover just to knock the rest of the grease and stuff off the side of this thing and just prep it before we paint it. Like I said, it's just the bottom and It's mostly just a little surface rust. I've got most of it off here, I think, but we'll wipe the rest of it down and we'll see what happens. Okay, got the griddle all covered up here, keep the burners and everything clear, but basically I'm just going to have to cut a notch in, or a rectangle, where that's going to sit right down here in the base of this griddle. So hoping this piece right here is not too structural. I don't think it is, but we're going to find out. And that thing's going to ride right in between these two pieces of metal here and sit right down in there, let's hope. So here we go. And there you go. Let's hope it fits. See, I just cut a notch there. We got unobstructed access to the bottom of the griddle. Down where we've got a shelf down here. We're going to put an aluminum pan down there, and hopefully that's going to work out just fine. We will have to do it a little bit of an angle, because as you can see, the shelf is kind of sitting toward this way. I might have to move the shelf back toward the back, which I think is possible, but we're gonna try it like it is and go from there. Clean that up just a little bit, throw a little paint on there just to keep that from rusting. Other than that, I think we're good. Okay, so she's on there. I haven't fired her up for the first time yet, but as you can see, we're going down into a pan down here, and I will show you what we got going on. It took a little finagling, but we've got a giant drip pan now, just sitting on the shelf. I did have to take the screws out of each side of this shelf to just slide it back there. I probably don't have to do that, but I thought it'd sit a little bit better and more sturdy on there, so I might move it back, or I might put some screw holes in that. But in any case, it's fine. And you can see that I've got that piece of aluminum stovepipe, or whatever you want to call it, attached with a strap, or a whatever you want to call it, a pipe clamp, a clamp, ratcheting clamp.
He's an idiot.
Took a little finagling, a little bit more work to get that up into there and around the piece of tubular steel that it has to attach to, but it didn't work out too bad. I had to come up with the right length there to make sure I had the length long enough and not too, I had it too long to begin with, so I had to cut it back. But then I'll come around and show you the other side underneath, just to give you another little bit of an angle at it. Okay, so as you can see, I'll try to get up in there and you can see, but bottom line is I had to just spread this back a little bit. It's a little bit, you know, pushed out to get it up in there, just because I had to, you know, have the room to get the pipe in there. But the fitting, I had to cut a little bit more of the metal out there, right up in here in this area, just to make that be able to have a little extra room to get worked in there. But she's in there, so I'm getting ready to fire this thing up for the first time and heat the black paint up and try to get that burn off and just give it a test. Alright, so what better way to christen a brand new freshly modified griddle than 3 pounds of thick sliced bacon.
Bacon is good for me.
So we just want to see just how good our little grease trough works, and if we have any leaks here in the front, which hopefully we won't. But just now fired it up, so just getting a little heat going, and excuse the wind and the wind chimes and the LED light, but it's dark already, and it's not even 5:30. It's already dark. So anyway, I will bring you back here in just a few minutes once we get this bacon cooking and grease a-flowing, and hopefully I'm not on fire again. Ooh, buddy, it is smelling good.
It's good. It's good.
And most of my grease is still coming toward the front because I haven't done anything to push that grease to the back. It's still designed to flow to the front here. So far, I don't see any leaking. We got a pretty good pool of grease here, and it's not coming through my welds yet. So hopefully I got everything covered, but I guess we'll find out. But yeah, we're going. Haven't really leaked anything into the pan yet because it's pretty much all just kind of flowing downhill right now. But that's okay, because I don't mind it being able to have extra grease and I can push it in when I'm done. So anyway, on to cooking this bacon. Well, as suspected, all that grease stayed down here and pulled up, which is fine, and none of it leaked out. I don't see anything, so I think my weld is holding. But look at this bacon. Look at that. Ooh, yeah. We're going to push a lot of this grease in, just like this. We are going to do some Smashburgers though, because why not? Let's get most of this grease off of here. And what are we doing down here? Oh yeah. Going right down in there. Not seasoned up just right yet, so the bacon didn't stick, but the remnants of it are sticking a little, but that's okay. This is the first cook, so that's absolutely expected. But man, that's nice to pour that in there and not have to run it down the side of my griddle or worry about it getting all over my leg. And this is obviously the extreme, because usually when you cook something, you're not going to have nearly as much grease that's left over from it. But obviously 3 pounds of bacon got a lot of grease. Oh yeah. That's looking good. Looking real good. Alright, well, I'm going to shut off part of this griddle. I'm going to go get my Smashburgers and we're going to move on to that. It's kind of hard to do with one hand here. Alright, doing some smashing. Looking good.